All right, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to our Week 5 Lectorial. We are going to be talking about innovating with technology, systems, and information. Obviously, we've been now going on for a while, and almost halfway through, we are going to be having our first assignment that is due very, very shortly. So it's very, very important. Everybody is actually working on that assignment, working hard to be able to get the right outcome. And if there's anything we can help you with, it's about making that contact and asking those questions. What I'll be doing today is I'm going to be giving people the opportunity to go and answer questions relating to assignments. So this is going to be also available for other people to go and access. So I'm going to start talking really about a lot of topics today, but bottom line, first of all, I just want to remind you that we are very happy to go and support you and direct you. If there's any help you need, either in my class, in Dr. Havi's class, in Yankong's class, please make sure you go and make contact with us. We're very happy to go and guide you. Obviously, I'm the coordinator, so if there's any issues you're experiencing and you're not comfortable to discuss it with your tutors or lecturers, you can actually go and make contact with me directly, and I'll do everything in my power to go and support you. Remember, the consultation times are very important. They are available there every week for you to be able to go and get the assistance you go and need. So please make sure you get that assistance if you ever go and find yourself needing it. I just want to remind you about all of this copyright information. Guys, do not copy the information without acknowledging where that information is coming from. It's important to go and abide by the act. So please don't copy, and even for your assignment, do not go and use something without acknowledging where it's coming from, because that will go and potentially trigger a plagiarism issue that will require an investigation, and that basically will result in so many issues. So please make sure you're doing your work. If you use any contact from anywhere, it's about ensuring you go and acknowledge that information to be able to go and have no issues with plagiarism. Last week, we spoke about understanding the current situation of the business. We need to know where we are today in order for us to know where we need to be in the future. It's really about looking at the whole process. It's looking at the processes we have, what activities we do for each process, what are the key entities that are involved, thinking also about our environment, not simply what's happening inside my organization. What is happening outside? Is there a lot of competition? What's happening in the economy, social environments, to name a few? And what we need to do is we need to go and think about how we can use information and systems to be able to meet the current business objective. We try to go and try to think about the way of not simply go and decide what you want to do, but it's very important to go and acknowledge that, we need to make sure we are doing what we are saying we are going to be doing. Like, how do we do that? It's really about ensuring we are making the right measurements. And I spoke about a number of measurements last week. I spoke specifically about a tool called the Balanced Scorecard, which basically looks at various measures, for example, relating to financial aspect, to product aspect, to customer aspect, and so on. And I said, all of these factors are interconnected. The product will link to the customer will link to getting the money. And what I said is, whenever we're going to go and take any actions relating to any of those areas, it's important to go and really ask ourselves this question is, how does that relate from an information system and IT perspective? What do we need to do from that perspective? And what we also went and said is there need to be critical success factors. Like, if you want to go and achieve an outcome, an objective, what are the factors that could enable you to go and reach that objective you would like to go and reach? So it's very, very important to go and really bear in mind what you're trying to do, and really ensure that there's a measurement and there's a KPIs and there's a monitoring to ensure that whatever we said we are going to be achieving at any point of time, we've done everything in our power to be able to really go and achieve it. So that's really, really crucial to be able to go and work on. Now, what I want to go and also say is there's a lot about the process design. Like, you need to go and analyze processes, understand processes, and improve processes. Like, when I talk about analyzing the process, let's analyze it, how it's working. What sort of entities, what sort of task gets done, what sort of outcome do we deliver? We need to really go and analyze that process, because if you don't look at the process, analyze it, see what sort of data it generates, all of this. If you're not going to go and have all of that information, what's going to happen is you are not going to be able to go and understand what is actually going wrong in your process. You don't know where there's the issue. You don't know where the weakness. So our job is very, very important to go and really understand where is our weakness before we can take the action to be able to go and address all of those weaknesses. So it's really, really important. We have a good focus on that to understand where the issues are to be able to go and rectify them. Without that understanding, we will not be able to go and reach the right outcome. In addition to really understanding what are the issues in our process, it's about also trying to make changes to the process. Why are we actually investigating the issues? We need to really know what the issues are. We need to know what we need to go and improve. And an improvement is often about redesigning the process. Now, when I say that the redesigning the process, when I go and change my process, it will go and generate for me what I need. So it will go and actually generate for me, for example, the information that is needed to be able to get the outcomes we would like to go and get. So that information, that thing we're trying to go and generate, to be able to go and get it, it's basically delivered through all of this information system. Okay, so just give me 1 second. So ladies and gentlemen, we go and continue with the redesigning processes. Redesigning could mean let me go and make some improvements to the actual process to be able to get more information that I'm going to be needing. But it also could mean let me change a whole process altogether. Let me bin what I have and let me totally try to bring a new approach for me to be able to go and get what I need and get the right outcome. So it could be a total delete of whatever I have and a total introduction of a new system, new technology, new way of getting information to be able to get the right outcomes. Now, one more thing is, we look at the processes, we understand how they're going, we understand the issues. What do we do there? Well, we need to go and really evaluate the gap between my current existing environment, and when I say about environment, information system environment and information technology environment, like the information that we have generated by the system and the technology that we have to generate the system, to generate that information. We need to look at the existing information system and IT environment, and we need to say, well, is that existing technology and is that existing information that has been produced by that technology, is that actually enough for what I'm actually trying to achieve? Or do I actually need to go and get some more information that is going to be beneficial? Do I need to go potentially get a different technology that is enabling me to go and actually get more information that is needed by using that new technology? So you need to really identify the gap between what information technology do you have and what information technology do you need to be able to really reach the right outcome. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about understanding what it means to innovate with information technology. We're going to talk about the process of digital business innovation. We're going to talk about the push and pull of innovating with information system and IT. We're going to talk about getting management's attention for ideas and innovations. We're going to talk about joining the dots, a search for ideas. We're going to talk about innovating by leverage of information, exploration and exploitation of information. We're going to talk about discovering the strategic information system and IT opportunities from information. And we're going to talk about building analytical capability. And then when I actually finish, I'm going to also talk about your assignment. I'm going to talk about the forums that I actually haven't seen many people actually engaging with. That's actually a very big downside because that's going to impact on the assignment mark, and it's also going to go and impact on potentially being able to answer questions relating to the final exam. So I want to talk about that because when I give you all of these information, I expect it to be acted upon to be able to get the right outcome. So I need all of these forums to be something you guys are working on. Now, when we talk about innovation, we need to know what it actually means to actually innovate with information technology. Now, when we talk about innovation, there is all of this dilemma. Like there are all of those people asking themselves this question: what should I do? One option, I need to adopt all of these new technologies early. Another option, I need to adopt when the majority actually adopt, I adopt with them. The third option, I need to adopt after everybody else has already adopted that new technology. And the comparative impact of this decision will differ. If you adopt early, you're going to come before everybody else, you're going to have a comparative advantage. And the reason why, like if you go and think about know why, because we want to shape this strategic move. We want to be able to go and lead everybody to go and create that new strategy and new change. Know-how, do we know how to get there? Well, no, it is immersion, because you're trying to actually explore and finding something that is totally new. But at the same time, you have a lot of risk. Your risk is very high to get the right outcomes. On the other hand, you have all of those people who actually go and adopt with the majority. So they say everybody else around them, all their competitors are already adopting that new technology. So what do? They go and start adopting it. And the reason why is because they want to ensure they're going to have what is called competitive parity. They want to be able to go and say, well, same as they are leading and have all of this technology and they are my competitors, I have the same thing. They're not any better than me. That's why I tell you, you should actually use my company, because we have exactly the same thing. And when we talk about that, the know why, in other words, why do they do that? Because they want to avoid being disadvantaged. They want to avoid being second to the market. They want to always be first to market. Now, the know-how, how do we get things done? It's likely to be scarce. We can't say there's none, but when everybody else trying to adopt at the same time, there's some information, but there's not too much information. And because everybody else is kind of implementing change at the same time, the risk is about medium, because you kind of, as things starts being explored, you're basically going to go and start finding that you're going to start finding that things will go and become available. So the knowledge starts becoming available out there, and because of that, the risk basically starts being medium, because we're relying on information from other people on how they've done things and their problems accordingly. When we talk about adopting late, if at all, well, why do you adopt late? Well, to survive, really. Like if you're not actually at the leading end of innovation, if you're basically going and actually trying to go and follow what everybody else is doing, or only doing it late, you basically, a lot of times, it basically becomes hard to go and to actually remain competitive. So you're basically trying to survive at that specific point of time. Information system and IT cost of doing business, this is why we do it, because we think about information system as a reason why we need to do it, to be able to go and remain in business. The likely, at the time, the know-how, how do we get things done, is likely to go and actually be plenty of information available out there at that time. And basically, it just, because there's a lot of information, the amount of risk involved into trying to go and invest into new technology is not going to be that immense. It's basically going to be really a balanced way to go in investing into all of this technology. So we talk about an opportunity, and we talk about the risks that basically is available at that time. So think about it. It is an opportunity to be able to stay in business and even be leading in a business, but at the same time, there are risks involved in you trying to go and invest into all of these new technology and new things we're trying to go and deliver. When we talk about innovation, guys, innovation doesn't just happen like this. There's various stages relating to really innovation. So when I talk about the stages, the 5 stages of innovation include: we need to generate ideas, we need to create awareness, we need to go and evaluate, we need to go and implement, we need to go and assimilate. Now, there are obviously so many ideas that actually come through when you actually go and try to innovate. So when I talk about all of these ideas, you get 100 ideas, but you probably might actually go and only invest in a few. Okay, not many of them. You only go and actually invest in a few of them to go and actually implement. So there's so many ideas, they come through, And what happened there, you start getting people to be aware of those ideas. Oh, guys, you know, this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea. So people start becoming aware of it in the business. And because they become aware of it, what will happen is they start accepting that there's something new potentially is available. They start accepting that there's a new information we need to go and actually bear in mind. So when there's that acceptance that there's something new we might need to go and actually invest in, it might be adding value, what will happen then? You start having an evaluation. When I talk about an evaluation, evaluation is really potentially, let me go and start creating some pilot of that specific project. And let me go and start showing people really in practical terms, what are the actual benefits of getting something really delivered. So the evaluation is really about a lot of time, let's just go and test it. Let's go and get some sort of draft available. Let's go and actually try to show people some prototypes and go and use that accordingly. Now, eventually you go and actually prove, you know what? This is a brilliant idea. We love Fabi. He came up with this great idea. We're going to know and think about how do we go and incorporate that idea in practice. So what do? We go and start implementing that idea. If it's a system, if it's a technology, if it's whatever innovation it is, we go and implement it and we go and get it into practice. Now, if let's say that implementation is really about implementing a new technology that basically generates new information for me, that's a great start. But you have to remember that when you actually went and got this technology, there were also another 50, 60 systems available in your organization. So yes, that new technology is great. Yes, it's adding value, but you need to know that it's not actually assimilated and integrated with all of these other, and I say other technologies, information technology and systems that are available out there. So assimilation is more about ensuring that wherever you went and whatever you got is actually going and integrated and being linked up to all of these other technologies that you've already generated or had already in the system. And this is really the 5 stages we need to think about when it comes to really trying to go and innovate in an organization. It is not an easy process. It requires a lot of dedicated and streamlined process to be able to really go and get things done. It involves not investing billions of dollars or millions of dollars before you actually try to potentially identify the potential returns you are going to be able to go and gain from really investing all of those resources that you are actually have within the organization. Now, there are many, many factors that impact on the process of business innovation with information system and with information technology. Those factors, guys, includes a firm's strategic context, the industry influences, the organizational influences, and the organizational culture. So if we go and think about the firm's strategic context, which industry do you actually go and operate? And there's obviously some industries which have a lot more innovation than potentially other industries. Like you go and talk about things such as electricity, might not have as much innovation that is available in that context as a company that is basically dealing with, for example, telecommunication or mobile phones industry or electricals, So there's a lot of innovation depending on the firm's real strategic context that we need to really go and think about. So one more thing. So the firm strategic context is industry. It's basically going to be different between one industry and another industry, and that's something to bear in mind. The industry influences, the organizational influences. So as an organization, are we actually ready? Do we have, for example, a CEO that is really committed and really driven to go and ensure we are going to be introducing all of this innovation within the organization? And if there is, that's going to be a great, great influence to go and get the job done. Do we have the financial capability to be able to really get things done within the organization? Another thing to really go and bear in mind. Sometimes there's something called the culture. The culture in the business might not be supporting us to do any innovation at all. Like if this culture says we don't want to change, we're going to keep on doing everything over and over again, the same thing, that's going to be a really big problem, because you won't be able to really go and basically get the outcomes you would like to go and actually be able to generate. So it's very, very important to really go and think about that to get the right outcomes. So many, many things. A lot of time industry influences could be, you know, what your competitors are doing also. If your competitors are, for example, innovating and changing things around you, they're getting new processes, they're getting new things that will basically make them, for example, save costs in comparison to what you are doing. That's, again, something you need to go and bear in mind when you're trying to go and try to introduce new business innovation within the organization. Now, what we need to know is it's not easy to innovate. A lot of time, it's not easy to actually get the management to focus with you on what needs to be done. Why can't you get management's attention? Because management people are very, very busy. And management people need to be spoken to in a language that they actually understand. And the language that management people really understand is a management that basically looks something very, very simple. It just looks like this. Have you seen this symbol before? That's what management people really go and look at. They want to speak the dollar language, dollar sign language. This is what they understand. They're very, very busy. And if they can't actually find that whatever you're trying to go and really introduce is actually going to be adding value in the organization, it is very unlikely you are going to be getting their attention to be able to go and really support whatever you're trying to go and do. So the bottom line we're trying to say here is you cannot get business management attention very easily. You need to show them that your idea has legitimacy, because if it's not legitimate, if it's not adding value, if it's not going to help us go and generate a lot of money within the organization, bottom line what this means, we are not going to be able to really go and invest into any technology that is not going to be adding value. So if you're not going to prove to them that we are going to be able to add a lot of value through that technology that you're trying to introduce, the outcome is you're not going to actually be getting the outcome you would like to go and get, and you're not definitely going to be able to go and get their attention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to really join the dots together. We need to search for the ideas. We need to know what technologies are available out there. And when you know what technologies are available out there, what benefits they give, you know, what you can actually go and use with them. If you don't know what technology is actually available out there, how are you going to know what you are going to be potentially benefiting through in the organization? So you know the technology that is available out there. That basically could give you an alert for the opportunity to use that technology to add a lot of value. So you need one, understand and be aware of the technology that is available out there in the market and is able to go and get a lot of value. Two, understand your business. How is my business? Does my business what does my business need? What does my business currently have? And based on the technology that is available out there and what the business have at the moment and how it's operating, you can have the alert to opportunities. Well, could I potentially use this to get this? You know, we basically start merging and getting a much better outcome to go and be delivered at any particular point of time. So it's very, very important to really have that consideration in practice. Like you go and think about a company like Amazon. Amazon go and see all of these delivery, okay? Now they deliver by person, but they see, okay, well, there's a technology available. Okay, great. So it's called drone. And my business is currently spending a lot of money doing deliveries. Is there potentially an alert to the opportunity of using drone for delivery, which will save my cost as a business and deliver more value to my client? Let me think about that. Didn't think about this before. This could be really a good idea. So and now you go and see a company like THL or a company like UPS have all of these trucks, like so many trucks. They say, well, should we reconsider now all of these trucking that we have available and try to find potentially a different way for us to go and actually operate? Because it will save us a lot of money and it will add a lot of value to our clientele. What about that? Technology awareness, business understanding, and let's go and get alerted to all of these opportunities that are available out there. When I talk about innovation, it's really innovation by leveraging information. So we need to explore information and exploit information. It's like I tell you, it's like I go and say, okay, why is your business not doing well? Well, because we are having very poor technology that is not generating the right information. Oh, that's it? Yeah, okay, no problem. Thank you very much. See you later. We do nothing about it. Why did you ask me? I was just exploring the information to know what's wrong. That's all. Well, are you going to do something about it? No. Well, what's the value then? Oh, there's no value. I just wanted to know. Okay, great. And another company says, oh, what's stopping you? I don't have the technology that is needed to operate efficiently. Okay, great. Let me exploit that information and let me go and fix this problem, implement the system, get the information, which will help me improve my operation and potentially help me to get the actual competitive advantage that I'm actually seeking to go and gain as an organization. If, however, I only stop at a point and say, well, you know what? I know what the issue is, but I'm not going to do anything about it. That means you're exploring the information. You know what's wrong, but you're not actually really doing what you're supposed to be doing because you're not using that knowledge and discovery insight to exploit it, to improve your operation and to get a better competitive advantage. When you exploit that information will help you to go and do what? Well, if I go and get the system, for example, I can use that information from their system, the data, to be able to make better decisions, to be able to get more value proposition, to be able to create new business models. For example, Uber doesn't actually have, I don't know, any way they were just, let's say, a normal taxi. Can I go and find a way to go and link GPS, link with people, with clients, with links to drivers, and create a new competitive approach, improve my operation. Let's just exploit that information and generate a new integrated system. And that basically equals a new business model, a new value proposition. I am offering you the way to go and get a taxi very easily at any point of time at a competitive price. And that's really my overall business model. So that is really the way we go and actually work on all of these various approaches. Now, so it's about not simply exploring that information, but it's also about exploiting all of that information. When I talk here, if you see on the right, the DIKAR model, data, information, knowledge, actions, and result. Guys, data and information, this is a basic level of data. It's really about managing my information. Data, combine and organize equal information. So how do I manage that information? Information then help me to go and use more than one information, combine them in a certain manner to be able to generate people's knowledge. Knowledge, and that's really where it starts becoming important, knowledge that is available but not used is like knowledge that is not actually processed. Knowledge is really about using it for decision making. It's really about taking action, and action is about really getting the results and executing the right outcome. So make decisions that will help you to basically get the right execution and get the right results. So don't simply focus on data, information, and knowledge. Focus on what are you going to actually be doing with that data, information, and knowledge that is generated through information system and IT. What am I going to do is I am going to be able to make decisions based on that actual information and data and knowledge, and I'm going to go and actually execute my strategy to be able to go and reach the right results that the business needs to go and reach for us to be able to be competitive.
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big data challenge. Big data challenge is, this is a big concept now. They tell you about all of this big data. Big data is about how do we actually benefit from all of this data and information that is available out there? Like, how do we get data into knowledge, into discovering new things, into making good decisions in the organization? And it's really all about the getting insight, which will help me to go and take and make the right decision. But it also at the same time the decision making is actually can't be happening without really getting the insight. So we need to get the insight through all of this data that is available out there in the organization. We need to also use that insight that is very important and try to ensure we are making the right decision that are helping us to go and reach the right outcome. So we need to work in a combined manner to get the insight to make the decisions by using the big data. Now, what I've done for this week's student forum, I am asking you a question about big data. And what I'm thinking is, well, it could be a good idea to give you also a question about big data in your final exam. So it's very important, I always say that, it is very, very important that you go to all of these questions that are available on the student forum on Moodle, and make sure you are actually answering your question, because otherwise there will be loss of marks, either because you haven't done your assignments well, you didn't actually apply all the information, or you were not able to answer good questions about the final exam because you haven't been really engaging with all of these things that I'm giving you. So please, I want to reiterate now that you must go and be doing all of these activities, student forums that are available to be able to really reach and be able to get the right outcome. We talk about discovering strategic information system and IT opportunities from information. So that links to the previous slide. The previous slide is more about data, big data. It's all about benefiting from this data. And here about discovering my opportunities, what could I get to be able to be much more efficient through the use of information system and through the use of IT. As more products and services become commoditized, the more know-how about customers and potential customers' needs and preferences become the added value an organization must have in order to be a chosen supplier. So there's so many, what's the word? There are so many products available in the market. There is so much competition available out there. And what you can do is to be able to be ahead of the competition, to be able to go and really reach the right outcome you would like to go and reach. What you need to do is you need to go and learn more about the clients. Let's know about them. Let's know about my current clients and my potential clients. What do they want? What do they need? How could I really add value to them through the products and services that I'm delivering by using information? And I'll talk a bit more about that. I'll talk about how the products and services that we deliver could be adding more value through the use of information. I will cover that in more details next week. We need to identify strategic information system and IT opportunities by using creativeness, okay? By using entrepreneurial thinking. Don't have that old mentality that we need to keep on doing the same thing we've been doing over and over and over again. And that's something that is sometimes hard to achieve. Why is it hard to achieve? Because you go to some organizations that might be employing old people who basically knows nothing more than let's keep on doing the same thing over and over again. Because if that means they're going to have to go and invest into new things, what this will go and mean for them, it's going to mean that they are going to go and have to learn new things. And when you are 50, 60, you might not want to learn new things. You are close to retirement. You say, why am I going to go and learn new things? It's not going to be adding any value to me now. But as a business, you need to be creative. You need to change. You need to be thinking in an entrepreneurial manner to be able to really go and reach that great outcomes. We need to go and get this data, explore with information. Is a trip, voyage of delivery. Voyage is in a French word. It's mean like a trip of discovery. And about being curious. Oh, there's this way. Let's go and see whether we can explore it and whether it could add any value to us. Oh, could it be? Or maybe not, but let's try it at least. It needs to be managed and resourced as such and not driven to deliver against artificial performance targets. Like I need to go and manage all of these things. I need to go and ensure that there's enough people working to be able to go and reach the right outcomes. I'm not going to go and put targets that, for example, are not reachable. I'm not going to go and put targets and I'm not going to ensure there are enough people available to be able to go and really reach that target and get the right outcomes. We need to make sure we're spending the time that is needed to be able to really reach and achieve the right outcomes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yes?
So if we are doing a project, then it's compulsory to follow like all these approaches?
Well, these approaches are actually used in practice, but you have to be kind of more specific. For example, if I'm going to tell you about, let's go and implement a new information technology system, okay, or project. They're not going to go and straight away go and invest into all of this, you know, new millions of dollars worth of investment without actually going and having some data to ensure that they are going to be generating benefit. You know, do they need to do that? Yes. If you're an organization and you're looking at what's happening out there in the market, you know, and checking, you know, is there a new technology? What does my business need? And how do I actually merge them together? Do businesses do that? Well, the answer is they don't always do that, but that is what they have to do. For example, if you are a business that is, I'm going to give you an example of Nokia. Nokia, there are so many new technologies available in the market. Okay, and Nokia was basically looking at their business, keeping on doing the same thing over and over again. Rather than basically say, well, we are the leader in the market, there's this new technology, it's going to enable us to be much more the second level fans and be best than everybody else because we're already the leader. They missed that opportunity. But what happened is a competitor came in, grabbed that opportunity, and enabled to go and introduce the first iPhone. Then Nokia later on tried to go and introduce their phones, which are basically having the touch screen or whatever, the smartphones, but that was a bit too late because the competitive advantage is already done. So to answer your question, do they always do that? No, they don't. Should they actually do that? The answer is very simple. Yes, they need to go and do that to be able to go and remain competitive. Does that make sense?
Like the, yep. So it is like the ethics and moral of an organization.
It's not really more the ethics and moral. It's more about whether there are the conditions that exist within the organization to enable change to happen. For example, do you have enough people? Do they have the right mentality? Do you have the right culture? Do you have the right teamwork? Do you have the right executive support? All of these are conditions within the organization that would lead you to be able to get the change that you want. But if those conditions are not present, it will actually act as an inhibitor to be able to go and get this change happening within the organization. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I'm just wondering about the results we get after, like when we do the requirements, when we fulfill all the requirements, like when we become projects. Because now you just told me like nowadays the organization doesn't follow all of that requirements, right? But still they got the product out. So what's the is it a positive thing or a negative one, sir?
So is it a positive or negative that they don't follow this approach?
Yeah, and still they are getting the products out.
Well, they're not always getting the right products out, are they? Do you have environments where they're actually getting the products that are not adding value?
That's what I'm asking. Like, are they like contributing, or is just waste of time?
It really depends on. Look, I'm going to go and actually link back to what I basically covered a few weeks ago. We mentioned that any change you're going to go and incorporate within the organization, they need to be clear strategic alignment. They need to be clear reason why you're actually going and doing it. If you have a clear strategic goal and something you are trying to go and achieve, and you're taking the actions accordingly to be able to go and reach them, and you incorporate with getting the information system, getting the technology, and so on, then you're going in the right track. But if you are actually going blindsided, which is what we've explained also a few weeks ago, and some companies go and invest without really having clear direction, it's ad hoc investment, and that's basically no clear plan of why they're doing it, then from that perspective, I would say, it might not be the best outcome to be able to go and achieve. So sometimes as an organization, you might be working on something, but it might not actually be the best thing that is going to get you the competitive advantage. To be able to know what is going to get you the competitive advantage, you won't be able to get it without really making the analysis. Speaking out there, analyzing the information, analyzing the internal context, analyzing the industry, and then deciding what you want to do. Because without that, how do you know if what you are working on is actually going to add value? The answer is you won't, because simply that information is hidden. Does that make sense?
All clear, sir.
No worries. Thank you very much. Keep asking anytime you have a question. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to create new knowledge and new learning. When I say about a knowledge, knowledge could be with me. I have the knowledge. It could be tacit knowledge in my head. But that tacit knowledge in my head needs to be transferred into learning. Because learning is when I explicitly share it with everybody else, or I allow those people to go and observe what I do, to be able to grasp that learning, to be able to go and get the value that you need to go and actually get. So we need to create that knowledge, and not simply that knowledge that I might have personally, but also the learning. In this example, I'm sharing that learning with you guys. I'm sharing it through explicit means, such as this lecture slide. I'm sharing through explicit means through talking to you, not simply the slides, not simply something you read, but something I say. And I could potentially share it if I'm working in a technology field, in a job, by allowing you to go and observe what I do and learn from me by using that specific approach. There are so many various techniques for discovering strategic opportunities. We'll talk more about previously, next week, but how and where to start identifying or creating innovation from information. That's something we need to actually go and really learn. Like, how do we actually do it? How do we create all of these innovations? There's obviously approaches we need to follow. Where do you start? Well, where do you start a lot of time is you need to start by understanding your business, and you need to also start by understanding what is available out there. But a lot of time it's about starting to understand, what does my business really need? And when I know what does my business need, this becomes a foundation that I need to go and follow to be able to really go and reach the right outcomes. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to build our ability to analyze, data and information. Great, let's manage that data. Knowledge, let's make sense of the information. What does that information actually mean? That's really the knowledge. And the third very important aspect of my analysis capability, let me act on what I understand. Take actions to get the right outcomes. Because if you're going to have the information and knowledge and you don't act on it, it's like, what is the point of that information that I mentioned earlier? So you need to grab that information and then ensure you are taking the actions that are necessary to be able to ensure that you are going to be reaching the right outcomes by using all of this technology that is available. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Any questions about your assignment? The assignment is due on Friday next week. Not this week, next week. There's not much time left to be able to get a good outcome. It's really important that we see a lot of good references. It's really important we see you apply the models that are available out there. It's really important to see literature being done. And it's really important to show me you've actually analyzed what is the issue and making sure you actually analyze the solution. It's really important to look at the structure that I actually followed. All of this was explained and recorded in week 3 in my lectorial in minute 15.40. So if any question is about that, you can ask, you can review that, but you're here now. Do you have any questions? Guys, one last thing. Are you sure? Do you have any questions at all? I want to make sure you're going to do well in your assignment. It's really important you do well. Okay. Guys, please make sure you review the webinar's content when I actually cover it this week. Contribute to the class forum question. I'm not seeing people contributing to the class forum. I can't keep on reiterating the importance of the class forum. You will be able to answer some of their assignment questions by answering the class forum. And you also need to go and answer those questions to be able to ensure you're going to prepare for your final exam. I'm not seeing responses. If you're not going to be seeing a lot of responses, it's going to make your revision and your ability to get a good mark in your final exam harder. So I want to remind you, I extended the due date for working on that webinar. I want to see, on that student forum. I want to see the answers happening. I want to see you guys contributing. And your contribution could be in the form of a new answer But I also want to see contribution by talking and reading what the other students have said and responding to their views. I haven't seen not even one person do that since I posted the forums 4 weeks ago. So please make sure you look at the forums. I want an answer for the forum 4, and I want an answer for forum number 5, which I published yesterday. I haven't seen these. I want you to continue working on the actual assignment, which is due next week. Sorry, someone just asked a question. What was the question? Another question? There was a question asked. What was it? Okay, guys, if there's no question at all, I would like to say thank you very, very kindly for all your time, for all your effort, for continuing to engage in the classroom. I really, really care about you. I really want to make sure you guys achieve the best outcomes. Please start working. If you haven't already started, I need to see a great outcome to be able to get you the great mark. If you have no question at all for me, you guys are free to go. Other than that, you can stay and ask me the questions. But if for those who are listening to the recording, all what you need to do, if you have any question, you can make contact, and I'll be very, very happy to assist you. If you're in my class, you can contact me directly, or if you are in other classes, you can contact Dr. Hafiz and Yang Kong to be able to go and get any answers you would like. Guys, thank you very much. Yes, my friend?
Excuse me, sir, I have one question.
Tell me.
Sir, actually, I just got a mail from you yesterday
Yep.
that it's from the week 4 question. So
From what, sorry?
I just got a mail from you yesterday.
Yep.
It's about the week 4 question contribution, sir. What is this about?
Okay, it is really talking about the class forums that I communicate that you guys need to work on. I'll show you again where that is.
Yes.
So you need to go to the actual system. There's a section called Class Student Forums. You click on the weekly forums, and every week I ask you a question.
Okay.
So you go and see here, and you can see that there's week 4 forum. So this is a question that hasn't been answered there.
Oh.
And then you go and actually see another one, week 5 forum, which is a question that is available for this week. So every week I kind of ask you a question. I expect you to either answer the information yourself I ask you either to answer the whole question by yourself or to read some of the answers. So for example, you might go and read the answer by your fellow student here. You might be able to go and see what they commented on and reply to that by adding your point of view. So you don't need to create it from scratch. You can just basically read and share your point of view with everybody else out there regarding it. Does that make sense?
All right, sir. Got it.
Yes, sir, got it. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, my friends?
So we can leave now?
So we have a assignment in next week.
Yeah, and it is an individual assignment. It's not a group assignment. It is an individual assignment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Any other questions?
So we need our break, sir?
The Christmas break, you mean?
Yes, sir.
I think next week is the last class, and then you have, I think, a break. I could be wrong. Just double check. Let me see if the dates are listed on the subject outline.
That's very kind of you, sir.
It's okay.
Song itu eh.
Okay, it's not listed here, but I'm gonna check one more thing because we usually have a calendar for SISTC. So let me just check the calendar. This is a calendar we have. So student vacation, student holiday, student vacation. It looks as if you're gonna be off between the 21st and you return on the 3rd. So you see here, this is the off it's saying. student vacation, and you return here on the 4th. This is basically when you come back. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Thank you very much for coming today. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys. Thank you.
Very, very well.